Let's bring in Kurt Bardella, advisor to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee and a former spokesperson for the House Oversight Committee, who I think just returned from a 3-day music festival. So good for you, Kurt Bardella. I looked at your Twitter before you came on. You look well rested. Good to see you. What do you make of kind of this disparity, right? This, Trump on the stage last night, of course, pushing all these ridiculous lies that he's just kind of built up in his mind over the last couple of months, not necessarily having a platform to talk about them. It's the same old stuff that he said over and over again. And he's got cheers, right? And then you've got the Georgia governor getting booed over and over again because he wouldn't, as they thought, had the power to overturn an election.
Yeah, it's really something to watch people who claim to be the quote-unquote law and order party boo their own elected officials for following the law and certifying a free and fair election, as has been done since the beginning of our country. Donald Trump last night reminded me of a worn-out act who is past his prime and just kind of playing those oldie goldie hits, to just a devoted but small fan base. I don't think that there is a longevity here for Donald Trump that can extend much longer. I don't think that this is sustainable for the Republican Party to continue following this dementia in action, because they already know this is a losing recipe. This is something that they saw.
Who knows? Who knows? Because none of them are speaking out.
For the Republican Party.
None of them are speaking out. Republicans aren't speaking out. They're all falling in line over and over again in Washington. Their supporters. Ali Vitale was on the air yesterday, right, as we were previewing Donald Trump talking last night. And she talked to a supporter who said, I want to see things looking forward. But then she played another sound of the same reporter saying, listen, the end-all, be-all, the best thing possible would be if Donald Trump announced that he was going to run again in 2024. No one is speaking out. So how can you confidently say that this is going to go away?
Because they're going to find out that continuing to double down on something that failed them in 2018, lost them the presidency in 2020, lost them the state of Georgia twice, actually, when you count the special election in January, there is a shelf life on this for the Republican Party. And the longer that this goes and the more that they lose, it is inevitable that this will fall in on itself. They are building right now their party on a house of cards. Set aside just the legal issues that Donald Trump is facing and what might happen in the coming weeks and months on that front alone, but the agenda that he is putting forward, the vision that he seems to continue to fight for, is one that continues to look backward, while the Democratic Party is putting forward an agenda that actually helps real people. I mean, the thing that stood out to me this past weekend, I was at this music festival.
Right.
And I was observing and watching and thinking that you have finally people out in the world living their life.
Right.
They're not sitting at home all day looking at Twitter, watching TV. They're out there living life. And I think that's going to have such a dramatic impact on what we have going forward. This is something that may not show up in polling, may not show up in prognostication and punditry. But I think that when you have an American public that for the last year and a half was kind of held hostage inside, now able to go and live their life, that's going to put them in a very different mindset. And what they're not going to want to hear is a political party saying, I want to take you backwards. Because when you think back the last year and a half, it hasn't been that great for America.
Let's talk about the younger Republicans, right? And the Washington Post writing this, most younger politicians pay at least lip service to what they have learned from parents, grandparents, or other relatives. But for instance, if you look at George P. Bush, right, and his announcement to run, he makes no mention of his long line of politicians in his family. He makes no mention of anybody except for Donald Trump.
I think when your last name is Bush, it's kind of hard to hide that you have a long family lineage. That kind of goes without saying. I don't think that running away from that's going to really do anything for him one way or the other. And again, it's building this campaign and this party on a deck of cards that is going to collapse onto itself. And in these situations, there are always those who try to capitalize on that, who try to politically gain, who try to establish themselves as the successor to that movement once it falls down. And that's what some of these people are doing. But in the long run, again, I just think it's unviable. And I don't think that history has shown that this party, look at California. California was a majority Republican-held state only 2 decades ago. The party moved to the fringe, moved to the right, moved to litmus tests in their own primary, played that game, and they ran themselves out of office at every level in the state of California and the government. The Republican Party in California became a third party at one point, falling behind even Democrats and independents in declining states. That is where the National Republican Party will go if they keep doing these things and following this blind, moronic Donald Trump Back to the Future play.
Kurt Bardella, some optimism after emerging from a 3-day country music festival. Like it, Kurt.